Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our entitled people. In today's episode, entitled family in my workplace. Entitled woman tried to get me arrested. Got robbed last night, people suck. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Entitled family in my workplace. I worked in a few places, currently in a cafe, and I do volunteering in some charity shops. So I do deal with a lot of entitled people almost daily due to my workaholic lifestyle where I constantly want to be doing something. Some small things which are annoying but happen quite often is in charity shops where people try to use blue light cards in charity shops when we don't accept them. I get it, you do a good job that helps people but often doesn't pay well. But everything we sell is extremely cheap. We had a lady try to buy Dr. Martens which we were selling for £6.99 and she tried to use a blue light card. I explained to her that we don't accept blue light cards here. Usually the woman would let out that loud sigh to make it clear she is annoyed with you or make a comment about how ridiculous that is. But no, she instead said along the lines, "You do accept it, every shop does." Which is not true, not every shop accepts it, which I did calmly explain to her, and after around 5 minutes of going back and forth she finally stopped arguing and paid for the shoes. Another small thing which is annoying that does not happen that often but often enough that I can say confidently it happens at least twice a week, is when a person, usually a man, comes into the cafe I work at and orders multiple things of the menu and complains when it takes too long. I am sorry, but ordering a stack of 5 pancakes, 2 chicken wraps, 2 large Cokes, several waffles, hash browns, sausages, baked beans on toast and black pudding does not take 2 minutes. These are annoying and I could name even more that annoys me, but I can deal with those easily and they don't bother me too long. Usually once the person leaves the cafe or shop I practically calm down instantly. But what happened today, that is what made me want to quit working completely. I didn't though. It starts off as a normal day, actually better than a normal day as we had a calm day, not many people and just small families with teenagers, so we don't have to deal with messy tables or little children running around or yelling. But a large family came in. There was a total of 8 children. I would say the youngest was around 4 and the oldest was around 7. Clearly wasn't all their children, perhaps a small party, though I doubt it was. They asked for a table for 20, there was only 9 of them, so it was a little confusing and I explained that we don't have tables big enough for a table of 20, but we have a table that can fit 15 if they want that one instead. That table usually is booked but wasn't today, and I wish it was, as they might have went to another cafe and bothered someone else. It was lucky for them but not for me, the other waitress and our chef. It took around 15 minutes to get all the kids to the table. The parents were not helping, and usually if kids are running around we do not do anything, but these kids were climbing everywhere. Some of these 6-year-olds almost made it into the kitchen if it wasn't for the EM for yelling at them that they can't go in the kitchen as they might end up poking an eye out. Bear in mind we don't have anything around these 6-year-olds eye level that would poke an eye out, but we do have a lot of boiling water, knives and extremely hot stoves, so the whole kitchen is quite dangerous in my opinion for a bunch of 6-year-olds. But that is all the parents did to try and control these kids, and when I asked, "Do you mind calling your children to the table as they are causing a disturbance in the cafe?" their response was, "There isn't anyone else here, they are fine. If you have such an issue with it, you go get them back to the table." I generally was shocked at this. My coworker, who we can call Jess, was on her break, but she was kind enough to end her break early to help me get all these kids to the table. I am so thankful for that, as well as I am not good with kids. I only managed to get 2 of the kids back to the table and she managed to get the rest back with ease. And once we got the last kid back, the who had dirt on their face as he was digging up the plants, EZP had the audacity to say to us, "Took you long enough?" We do have a strict boss who wasn't in yet, so we didn't want to kick them out before our boss could actually see what was happening, as he would be on the customer's side before even checking the security footage and checking with us to see what actually happened. So we just tried our best to bottle up how we were feeling and hoped our boss, we can call him Ross, not his real name, same as Jess is not the real name of my coworker, would come back in time to actually deal with them. According to Jess, as she worked here longer than me, she said that we only had one person kicked out and banned from the cafe, and they weren't as worse as these people, so that got my hopes up that I will never have to deal with these people again. Now let's skip a few minutes to when the ED whistled me over like a dog. I did make a comment at this saying, "Please don't whistle at me to get my attention, you can call my name, Thea." He scoffed at this and then proceeded to say their order. It was a large order but expected for a large group and wasn't as bad as I expected. I thought it would be more as they were being so rude, but I tried thinking positively that perhaps they had a bad day and they are just overwhelmed with all these kids. Now this order had a lot, so Jess helped out the chef, who we can call Eric. Jess isn't the best cook, but she only did the easy things like boiling the eggs for him or making the toast whilst he made the pancakes and waffles. During this time I tried sitting at one of the booths not close to them, but I could see their whole table and I did keep a close eye on them. I thought this was a smart idea, and it would have been if they didn't need something every 5 seconds. How long will it take? Are you allowed to be sitting down during your work? We want a new cup, these are too small. There isn't enough ice in my water. We want new cutlery, these are dirty. I can confirm they were not dirty, and they didn't even notice that I just gave them the same cutlery back to them, as I knew they were clean. And before says that they might have dropped it or something, I had my eye on them the whole time to make sure they didn't cause any chaos in the cutlery they wanted to change. Only the EP's cutlery were the only ones left untouched. Does the pancake have eggs in it? They asked out of curiosity, not even for allergies or dietary reasons. Do you have a spare hairband? Mine broke. Oh wait, I got one in bag, never mind. And this was annoying, and I felt as if they knew what they were doing, as once I sat down every time they would call me over a hem. Thea, in that annoying teacher's voice, made me want to rip my ears off. But I kept calm, answered all their questions with a smile on my face. Now here in the UK we don't get tipped as nicely as Americans. Quite often I don't even get tipped, so I did this expecting perhaps a small tip for dealing with them. It took around half an hour to get all their food at. We wanted to make sure it all comes out at the same time, and it was all warm, but the eggs and toast for the parents were finished quicker than accepted, so they came out 5 minutes earlier than the rest of the food. This is where the chaos everyone loves happens. Mom, where is the rest of the food? Me, oh, they are about to be right out. Mom, how long? Exact time, we aren't mind readers. And she gives the dirty smile that make you feel so angry, as you can tell that they aren't being nice at all. Me, ha ha. It should just be 5 minutes. I try laughing it off, as usually it works with the rude people I serve. Dad, why is it taking so long? We have been here for hours and you want us to wait even longer. Me, the tickets say the time that they were printed. I know you have been waiting for around 30 minutes, but that is expected to make 4 deluxe 5-stack pancakes and 3 deluxe waffles. And you did request for all the food to come out at the same time. We did try to time it, but your 2 meals just finished quicker than expected, so we didn't want it to get cold. I didn't expect them to interrupt me, but they actually let me say all of this, so I thought they might have understood that we were doing our job best as possible and didn't want to serve them cold food. Mom, you are a chef and you don't know how long it takes to boil an egg? Pathetic. Me, now a little annoyed but still trying to be nice. I am not the chef, and he just made one small mistake and we are so sorry about it. I am not sorry at all. Dad, you seem very sorry with that attitude. Me, I am sorry if I gave an attitude. I just had a long day. I have not had a long day, but I need to stay calm as I know my boss will be back soon, and if I were to yell at them like I wanted to, I just know he would walk in and fire me on the spot. Mom, we also had a hard day, but you don't see us being B*TCHY. Dad, just get the pancakes out now. Me, I will go see if they are done now. I leave. I can hear them snicker and talking about me being incompetent and unable to do simple tasks, but I started to feel as if luck was on my side, as once I get into the kitchen I see Ross entering from the back at the same time as me. I explain everything quick as possible. The pancakes were almost done, they just was plating it all up. He was very understanding and told me to stay at the counter at the front and serve any new customers, and he will serve this family. So this is everything I heard and saw. He serves the family. I can see them complain and heard them talk even more shit about me, saying how she is so bad they replaced her already. Now I could see Ross getting annoyed, but he was doing his job. He didn't put on his manager badge and instead had another coworker's badge on, so I realized he was pretending to be a normal employee so they wouldn't start acting differently, as he owns the cafe. When the food all gets there, the kids were extremely messy, even wiping their dirty hand from all the ice cream and chocolate sauce on the chairs. Now these chairs had fabric on them and can be easy to stain if left dirty. I saw the parents laughing at this and not telling them off, not even saying anything to the kids. Then I saw the kids starting to get up and run around again. Now Ross already knows how bad they were when they first were running around, and now they are covered in food, so you can assume it is worse. Before I go to stop them, Ross tells me, "That's my table now, I'll deal with it." So he goes over to the parents and tells them, "Tell your children to sit down, they are making a mess," and he got the same response as they gave me. This is when he says, "I'll get your bill." I heard some arguing. Apparently they didn't want to pay yet or leave, so he explains how they are being kicked out as their behavior is making the cafe a mess and making people not wanting to come into the cafe. Now this felt like something out of one of these Reddit stories when they said, "You can't kick us out, you're not the manager." And I saw his smirk, "I am the manager, you are being kicked out, and if you don't leave you will be banned from ever eating here again." Me and Jess loved this. If we had popcorn it would have been perfect. They refused to leave for a few minutes but did pay, and when they were leaving he yelled out, "You are banned, forever, never come back here you cunts." And this father turned around so quickly and yelled, "We have children, don't swear in front of them." This is where I cut in and say, "You were swearing in front of them earlier." Now Ross did tell me off for this comment, but not in front of them, as he didn't want to make them feel as if they were in the right, as they weren't. But they did argue with Ross for a bit, and this I will just summarize it for you. They didn't want to leave, wanted a refund for bad service, Ross saying they paid for the food and did not tip, and since they ate all the food they won't get a refund. This repeats until he threatens to call the police, so they leave. Now he didn't check the security footage, but he said judging from their behavior he knew what we said was the truth. Which was nice to hear. This is my first proper Reddit post, so I hope it was good. If you want to hear more of these sort of stories I have plenty, some worse, but this happens recently and I only just got Reddit, so it just felt right to vent about it. Everybody should be required to work in food service at some point in order to learn how to properly treat people that work in the service industry. It's amazing how awful people can be. For non-Brits, Blue Light Card is a discount program for first responders and workers in the national health system. Many, but not all, retailers participate in the program. OP's employer doesn't. Entitled woman tried to get me arrested. I am writing this just after it happened. My boss, we nicknamed him Ross, allowed me to take a break for today as of how shocked and panicky I was, but I am too shaky to even stand up, plus I don't feel safe walking home, so he offered to drive me home after work is finished. This entitled woman, who I assumed was the mum in the first post, comes walking back in. I was counter, so I saw her first, and I didn't want to make a big scene as we were fully booked today and everyone would see and hear everything, so I was about to go into the kitchen to get Ross, who was helping cook with our chef. We have a different chef today and her nickname will be Lily. Entitled woman, ahem. You aren't leaving until we talk. This is already getting heads turning. I am not good with arguments if it is in a small group, let alone with a crowd of people watching. Me, I am getting my manager, I will be a dash. The sentence was cut off with her yelling even more at me. Entitled woman, we don't need your manager here. You are an adult, so you can talk like one. Now keep in mind I am barely an adult and I easily get mistaken for being 18 or 19, and this woman was clearly twice my age. Me, I am getting my manager, just wait here. I am trying to be calm and nice as possible, as many of the people here know me, they are locals in the area, and since they don't know the full situation I don't want them to think I am being rude. Though looking back at it they probably realized something was wrong at the start. She is yelling and I can't be bothered to write it all down and I can't remember all of it, but as I go into the kitchen, as I am walking towards Ross, he yells, "Ross, what are you doing in my kitchen?" This shocks me as I assume he was talking to me until I feel someone grab my shoulder and pull me around. This lady, this entitled woman, has just walked into the kitchen and grabbed me. Entitled woman, I said you dashed. She didn't have any time to speak. I pushed her off me. I am not very strong, quite obviously weak, but I guess me being so scared and shocked gave me the strength to properly push her off me and she almost fell over. What the hell? That is assault. You are going to be arrested. Ross, Lily, call the police. He says to Lily as he runs up to me, standing in between us. I was shaking a bit and I could hear some people outside talking quite loudly, guessing they heard what is happening. Entitled woman, when the police come here they will see how awful you are to your customers and she will be rotting in prison. Ross, you are insane. She clearly didn't assault you, you scared the shit out of her and you clearly have not so many mental problems. This entitled woman gave me a death stare as I am shaking behind Ross. She tried stepping closer but Ross starting yelling at her again. Ross, don't get any closer to her. Entitled woman, she is a grown woman who can handle herself. If she wants to fight, we can fight. Ross, shut up, you know she doesn't want to fight. Plus you are banned from here, get out. He nudges my arm. I didn't get what he was trying to do, but she started to pick up the stuff on the side like the chips and starting throwing them at me. Luckily nothing near her was sharp, heavy, or just dangerous, but I was already panicking and this made it worse. They are both yelling at each other and at this point I was crying and so scared I couldn't understand. I just remember at this point Lily coming in and walking me into the break room, which you need to unlock with a key, so we were able to lock her out. Now the police came over, I got questioned a bit, they heard me out and said what I did was fine and I had genuine reason to be scared. I asked Ross what happened, what they asked him, and he told me that it was basically the same questions I was asked, but he also showed the security footage. At this point I am not sure what is happening. I am sitting by myself in the break room on a beanbag as I write this on my laptop. I think writing this all down did help as I am no longer crying nor shaking as badly. I have noticed a giant red mark on my shoulder. This just feels so surreal as I read about these sort of stories, but happening to me makes it feel so much more scary than it is. Like reading through it I feel as if I overreacted so much, but I know in the moment it felt like an even bigger deal than it really was. Edit. Someone was nice enough to tell me how to edit posts, so not much of an update as it is the same day still, but I just got driven home by Ross and after reading all the comments I will press charges if possible. I didn't want to originally as I don't like confrontations. I also wanted this to end quickly as possible, but everyone was making such good points. I don't want her to do this to anyone else or treat anyone else like this. Before I forget to mention, I am not British. I do have an accent and I am obviously not fully white. My mother is half Greek, half French, and my father is from South Korea. I don't think this was hate crime related, but I think this is something worth mentioning. You didn't overreact. That nutjob is probably going to jail for assault and trespassing. Nobody has a right to lay hands on you, throw things at you, or even just pursue you into employees-only areas because you don't want to talk to them. Fingers crossed you are right. She deserves jail time. And a heavy fine. When they ask you, please press charges. This. So much this. Some won't because they just want to move on, but crazy doesn't go away on its own. Press charges. Go in, get her for everything you can, and don't feel guilty. She shouldn't FCK around if she doesn't want to find out. I don't know if they have restraining orders where you live, but get a copy of the police report and ask at the police station about getting an order of protection. If she comes near you, she will be arrested. Got robbed last night, people suck. Last night, I chose the wrong place to camp after a long day of attempting to cross the border, which unfortunately ended in failure. I thought I had found a good spot in the woods off the highway for the night. I carefully checked for any signs of people, trails, garbage, or footprints, but there was none. I set up my tent and took out the heaviest items from my bag, including my battery, cookware, and sleeping bag. It was cold, I was hungry, and tired of cold bologna, so I decided to gather firewood for a warm meal. After about 30 minutes of collecting wood, I returned to camp and heard noises. To my shock, 3 individuals, clearly junkies, were tossing my camp, dismantling my tent and tarps. Upon discovering the intrusion, I yelled, "What the heck are you doing?" Unbeknownst to me, I had walked into their territory. Feeling outnumbered and fearing for my safety, I recalled a past encounter with a knife-wielding psycho and instinctively reached for my oversized Bowie knife hidden in my back pocket. Despite my appearance as a big, burly guy, I am not tough but more like a squishy teddy bear. Wide-eyed and trying to conceal my fear, I held the knife firmly, declaring, "You're not getting anything." They eventually left, having taken my battery and tent. Now sleep-deprived, I am heading to Niagara Falls in search of work and to meet up with my friend Susan. I hope to have a better time finding legitimate, non-scam employment, especially since I've replaced some of my identification, making things easier. Every day seems to bring a new challenge, and I feel like I'm losing more and more of myself. It's disheartening to think that everyone is out for themselves, making it hard to trust anyone. I want to know, are you trying to sneak into Canada? You can do it, mate, don't ever give up. Info, why are you trying to cross the border this way? If you have a citizenship, then why not go to the US consulate to get your papers squared away and come back that way? If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.